Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I don't know why Facebook has such a long stream key.
Maybe it contains some actual data for once instead of just things. Okay,
Maybe.
so are we live? Live?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, there we go. We're live. Okay, so I was testing out YouTube's live streaming because I haven't live streamed on here in a long time. And I was just looking at what their stupid rules and regulations are for what they do. And so what they say here is, as this is like paranoid delusion.
This is when you're going to start the live stream. This pops up. Like, you have to say you're not going to do these 3 things, which make no sense.
Alters footage of a real event or place. But that's like past tense, even though this is a live stream. Like, you alter footage of something that's already happened?
Yeah, so say you, like, are at... Say we were to right now open up a video that we were at a fair, or a something years ago, and we were to start photoshopping devil horns on everybody. Is that altering footage of a real event or place?
On a live stream? I don't think that's what it means. I think it's paranoid delusion that they mean, they don't mean past tense, even though that's written wrong, because it's like when people start doing this, it's like they think, robots are going to take over the world on account of a movie they watched last night where robots are taking over the world. But
how would you alter footage ever on a live stream?
Yeah, it's so difficult that you would need, like I said, like a live effects generating, I'm just telling you, just so everybody's aware of like where we're at.
Yeah, like giant server doing it.
Yeah, you need like a server to even do it with like monitors with somebody looking at the different screens.
Yeah.
You would need the person to then have that like area that you're recording in have a LiDAR reference for depth of field so he can even insert effects. He would have to know competently how the camera's going to move, or when it's going to move after being taken off a stand. It's basically like a David Blaine magic trick. Like they're saying, no live stream magic tricks because I don't like them because I'm paranoid. Like, how old are you? What?
But, so, what they're saying now, okay, think about it. You have to think through, because you know how we said, sure, if you can get certified people to assist us in certain ways and then claim it's AI for like our video editing or something. Okay, so what they're really saying here is they don't want anybody on the sly coming in over the internet as backup AI from some server and like making things look too cool or different instantly.
But again, that's also paranoid delusionalism because, again, all of that's really difficult. Stop believing that science is magic and that materials do things they don't do.
Because generates a realistic looking scene that didn't actually occur. So you're saying no Unreal Engine 5 cutscenes?
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say. That didn't actually occur. So you do a live stream of a forest that's too realistic with bunny rabbits hopping around in it, and that your paranoia says that that's super spooky and bad?
'Cause Uncanny Valley? What if suddenly the forest is on fire and you swoop down on a helicopter on green screen, the fake rope ladder, and say, "Eyewitness action news. Colorado Forest Rockies are devastated by forest fires."
But that's what you do to make like a movie. You just be live streaming like a movie with certain scenes.
And then what? Who are you fooling?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So makes a real person appear to do or say something they didn't do. Now, okay, that's really vague because every single YouTube poop on YouTube is I suck my own dick. You know what I mean? Like every 5 seconds they're like, I've been eating my own ass in my dick hole.
Yeah. So at what point is that AI edits or video edits?
Yeah, and at what point are you just emotionally responding with that top one to getting trolled by being angry?
Yeah.
Because that top one makes it sound like somebody does a really good impersonation of you and you want to claim that they're not allowed to do it because
it's AI. Yeah.
Because it's AI. Because what? They didn't show their face and then do the voice again while waving it around on camera. But if it's AI paranoia time, then couldn't they have generated that voice anyways and then be lip syncing to it? You see how this is all arbitrary and mentally ill specifically.
It's this concept that you're tricking them in the moment, because you could be doing whatever on the live stream and then open up your video editor and say, anybody watching, get this, I have a friend and like they said these words and paused too much, and I'm gonna go in and video edit it to make it look like they said something else by cutting pieces around.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. The person who really is the worst with this, and the only people who should be seeing this, are the news channels.
Yeah.
They're the ones that take pictures of people being given water in like Africa by soldiers and have the gun that's too close to them because there's like terrorists in the area that's out of focus a little bit, look like it's pressed against his head because it's laying on his side. Remember that famous photo?
Yeah.
And it was like different sections of different media people all told a different story about it because they're insane, and the truth is often much more difficult and complex than it first appears.
Yeah, they were stupid. Yeah, they couldn't see the 3D.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that looks weird. And then I look at the image below it that describes what they're talking about, and I say, yeah, it did look kind of out of focus.
Yeah. Okay. You're required to tell us if your content... So wait. You can do it, but they'll be real angry and have you on a watch list.
YouTube, you're a bad boy for making live streams with digital content list. Ooh, no. It needs to be real when it's live.
So what they're really saying is, if we were to come in and like have a mysterious, like say right now in my hands I was holding a mysterious voice changer box with pre-recorded things on it, and then I can just push play and it makes it sound like a celebrity. I can just say, yeah, I'm Chris Hemsworth and I love sucking kangaroo dick, and then it just sounds exactly like him, and then I just have a fake conversation with him on the live stream using AI voice synthesizer from a tool that was built that I'm holding, that's just like any tool you use to create music or something. And how would that be bad? Mm-hmm. I don't know how that would even be bad.
I'm telling you, that's why it's in the category why YouTube is so intolerable of like weird old person robots are taking over the world, Will Smith iRobot behavior. So like fucking, this is like, no fooling me with AI because it's spooky if I got fooled with something that was generated by a robot.
But what makes no sense
as I say, okay, of course we know AI doesn't really exist, and it's just people who, like me, who don't get credit for anything. So
remember,
none of the music I make or anything is going to anybody anymore. They're not going to make money off of me.
Let me point something out. YouTube's a little harder to get into streaming, just a feeling, than Facebook, and here's why. Like, you have to go in and hit edit and change the label of your stream as it's still defaulted to your last stream name instead of being blank and demanding a new one. Mm-hmm. That's kind of annoying. Then they have all these stupid fucking checklists where you have to just click yes or no. So once you've done it the first time, no one's ever going to go back and say, oh man, I've got AI in this fucking video, I better select yes for this live stream. It's stupid anyways.
Yeah, and then they say that totally now they finally introduced, wow, as I'm really impressed, this many years later, I come back and they inform me, guess what, guys? We finally introduced, if you have somebody to moderate while you're playing, like Twitch-style moderation for, somebody else that you can get to do it for you. Like infinite years later, as nobody uses YouTube live streaming anymore and went back to Twitch. They like went back to it because of this asinine ridiculousness where like that's too vague. That doesn't make any sense. You need to like actually explain what your intent is behind the words you're using, or you're just insane.
YouTube has this feeling where like you just feel someone lurking, and if you don't just stop live streaming quickly, they'll just somehow start fucking with your whole account and experience in horrendous ways. Just sometimes, though.
Well, like it's mostly like because I've experienced this before. Like this stupid internet dropouts, like occasionally happens even with Facebook when they emotionally don't like something once in a blue moon.
You're right.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was just worse, and it's still worse on YouTube, that type of behavior from people who can't handle things being said even though they don't have to watch, than Facebook. It'll always be worse in my opinion until, everybody's swallowed by a black hole.
Yeah, so I guess we just came back here to YouTube to see what it's like to stream, and, it's funny that, like, you can actually select yes or no. I don't know. Like, they're not banning it. They're just real paranoid.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, you're going to get lots of people trolling you when you openly say you have buttons and for people not to push them. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, when it's this vague, it makes it sound like you're actually losing your mind and pulling your hair out.
Because, we stopped live streaming on here because the events went from, like, every couple months, they would, like, fuck with our live stream in some serious way, sort of, to it being, like, kind of consistently.
Yeah, we get too many dropouts and we get frustrating while we were talking, and it's like we got wired internet.
And then we also started getting people, like, actually forcing their way into the chat and being annoying right at the end. We stopped.
Yeah.
It's just gay.
So let me tell you, now trust me, they've introduced moderation.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe for us, YouTube's so putrid, I doubt it yet.
Yeah, right.
When YouTube is actually not putrid, then all of the red on it will be pink instead of just some of it.
But you see why I said it's so bizarre, and it starts getting into like you can't play games with my mind. My mind is secure. Like saying things to themselves like a person who's starting to like slip mentally is because to follow YouTube's policy, you're required to tell us if your content is altered or synthetic. You can't use these words because what? Synthetic? Like, what if I'm using synthetic materials to make light pass through things in a scene? Like
through our window, like outside of our room. Like then we say, look, it's still light even though it should be night. So
is that War of the Worlds level? Like, is that a major catastrophe? Because look, it seems light out a window.
Yeah.
I feel like at a certain point here, we need a sense of creative whimsy. And they're like, no creative whimsy. Always tell me what you're doing. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because then you're spoiling the surprise of what's interesting that's going to happen. Old people behavior.
Yeah. When people said they wanted to be blind, I'm pretty sure they wanted to just say they become old people and be special cannibal sugar and products, and then they don't need to see anymore. They just are a feeling in everyone, and that's their reincarnation Buddhism.
Ew. Anyways, okay, so let me tell you what you need to turn these into, in summary. Generates a realistic looking scene that didn't actually occur. You need to basically not try to pretend that you're having live street fights. That's what they mean by that. That's what I'm going to say that means.
Okay, that sounds good.
Like as if it's totally fake and some guy will, roll with the blow.
No generating terrorist vibes in a live stream.
No ghetto fake fights, nothing like that. That's what they mean.
But that would mean that every time people appear as gangs around us on live streams, and if we live streamed on YouTube on our cell phone, and then they're coming around making realistic looking scenes that are intimidating, then they're not obeying YouTube's rules.
Yeah, but I'm recording them in the third person, so think about this. If you look at it from that perspective, it's real because I'm not participating. Yeah,
that's true. That's a good point.
I'm just talking.
What is the fourth wall?
Yeah, that's why I'm talking like a news anchor, because I'm saying here, like, is my opinion make it not real? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, what if I say, like, wow, those clouds are going to cause some severe damage and people like to be in denial these days? And then they say no damage happened after a big windstorm happened here as it swept out of Idaho into other states. They say it, they firmly say it while people are picking up pieces of their homes, like news channels like to do.
Yeah.
When the local communities said no, they're angry that things didn't go out their way. Nobody talked about it. So then, it didn't happen. So, you know,
Yeah.
just like how the fires in California happened twice, and then they loop around and say, "Oh, what? The first time they didn't happen." So if I was live streaming it actively, they would say, "Those flames aren't real," as they're licking up the side of a mountain.
We did do a live stream about the LA fires in 2020 and all their mansions burning first. Then they burnt again now, 5 years later again. What if we had come back on YouTube again on the second go around and said, "Hey, look, their mansions are burning. It's the same moment, even though it's 5 years later, dog. Oh no, which one's the doctored AI year of humanity fucking without time?"
Okay, so alters footage of a real event or place. Okay, so, I'm going to create something logical that the website has a policy that makes sense while they're trying to cover their ass. Like, they don't want people to fake fight in a street somewhere.
Yeah.
That's bad for their business model.
Yeah.
But alters footage of a real event or place. That would be like saying that you set up a live stream, and this is the only thing I could think of off the top of my head, where there's an event where there's like a live stream on stage and you have a camera at a certain level to where then you can actually, because you set it up earlier, have somebody else who wasn't there at the event like dancing on stage or something secondarily.
Yeah.
So that like then it's already over the event, but then they have like it cleverly arranged like there's somebody else there or something that's doing a performance.
Like they're adding themselves in. Damn, but everybody's always trying to add themselves in, you're right, to live stage shows.
Yeah, so I understand why they have that policy, because, it's not your stage show. I'm making up things that, like, make sense here, because these are too vague. So, the top one that I'm coming back to is, makes a real person appear or say to do something they didn't say or do. All that one would be is somehow you're talking to a person on live stream, then you turn the camera away from them and do an imitation of their voice and say they said something they didn't say between like muting the microphone or something. Because then you have a problem where then people are then saying that people said things they didn't say or something.
Yeah, slander.
Yeah, even though, wow, you'd have to have a common voice for somebody who's just randomly recording you to do that. Because there's no real practical implementation through live streaming of making a person say or do something they didn't do without it just being a video that you're then live streaming, and then it's kind of obvious.
But I mean, just saying, for the sake of whimsy, don't you always have to like interview people on the street and say surprising silly things and then like make up that they totally said something they didn't and overreact like, they want to fuck clowns? Like, whatever you're doing.
But again, that's why I always say intent too. You need to show what your intent is, aka what your mission statement is, because this isn't logical. It's too vague to be a legal document. Yeah. So it has to be what your intent. You have to explain your intent here.
Yeah.
As to what you're trying to prevent, not just say vague things. That's always bad. It doesn't matter if nobody takes advantage of it because you know what you're thinking and you'll ban them if they do. Tell us the spirit of what you mean.
Yeah, I guess we've summed that up.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I don't know what else we talk about. We're just going to do a test stream.
Yeah, so the only other thing is just they act like all of this applies to AI, so I don't even know what to say because I came up with logical stuff, but they just mean if you magically can computer generate an event like a concert that they didn't get to go to and everybody wanted to go to it, and then the tickets were all sold out on a fake website for your live stream, then they'll be real upset. That's what they really mean.
So what they're really saying is if some event from 20 years in the future like echoes back on the internet, then they don't believe it's real because they can't get to it.
I mean, that's why I said you have to state your intention even within what you're stating.
Yeah.
Because of course they'll show it and then say they were totally there, dog.
Yeah. And then hence be doctoring footage of a live event, but that hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, you see, but they're not going to live stream that doctored footage. They're going to upload it.
What's crazy is how they'll do that. They'll have footage several years even before a movie's made or an event happens with a stadium full of people, and it'll be really muddy and hard to see all the sources on YouTube or wherever else.
Right.
And then the event will actually happen, and it will have altered. Random events will have changed a little bit. It's like
Because people saw pieces of it.
yeah, or because like they couldn't predict that someone got a little bit injured and did their wrestling move different. Like
Yeah.
it's weird. Like the floating potential is bizarre. Yeah. And so like in that vein of discussion, like we had the fake like Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So when does the real one happen with our like whole performance with Christian rock and everything?
Well, yeah, because they kind of just kept it dark like how we
Yeah.
had intended, and then sat in different spots on like objects they generated in a warehouse from above and shit with lots of darkness so they can mat things properly.
Even though we already came up with everything they were doing, and it's like
Yeah, so there's like light poles and shit, but they're not for their event, so
yeah. Then the whole Creed debacle where to cover that he's doing it, they just said he randomly supposedly performed at the Super Bowl in the 90s before they were that
maybe with
famous.
some other Super Bowl, not Super Bowl, but like sports event in a stadium, allegedly. I don't know.
I don't know. The picture is that weird look like as though it's
Fake film made out of sodium starring that's been brought through time is what it looks like.
Yeah, so then you're like, oh, when was it taken?
Like the crusty image somebody took that I saw on a loop on the internet from before I uploaded the Morbius display, where they used a very unfortunate shade of brown, like as if it was shit smeared napkins for the Morbius Morb juice thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I even liked it. I thought it was cool. But I just also wanted to make fun of it because it's what you do, you know, when it looks poopy.
Yeah, what if our whole event of the what if we look at 1995 Super Bowl and suddenly it's our event we had planned for 2025?
Yeah.
We gotta check, you know. Maybe it's already all happened a long time ago. Wow, time does things like that. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we can be done.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, yeah. That's about it.